Howdy team, welcome to this week's episode of the show. I've got an excerpt for you from a chat with a good friend of mine, Tony Gargan. From this short excerpt that the team have chosen, we cover where I have been, where I am, and where I am going. And there's loads of value in this really short piece because you can't define what you want without first looking back. And we talk about loads of things from looking at new leads versus maximizing the existing customers and clients. We talk about business in general, why people don't take action, how to overcome procrastination. This is a real high value short clip that I think you're going to take a massive amount from. So over to the show.
Are you really happy in life right now because you've designed a life that gives you the ability, unlike many people, to be the taxi? You know, for many people, that's the goal, isn't it? To have enough free time to be the taxi for the kids. Are you really happy right now?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, probably the happiest I've been in a very long time. But equally, on the other side of the coin, it's almost that thing of wanting to grow as well, because I don't want to go, there's almost a fear from my side of ending up back where I was in 2015.
Yeah.
So the need to learn and the need to progress, and almost I've become comfortable with the fact that I'll never be probably truly deeply happy, because that's equally part of the motivation that pushes me to.
So would you say that's not truly deeply happy, or would you say that that's not
content? The better words.
Yeah.
Content. I'm not happy, but I don't think I'll ever be content.
Interesting. And you think that's what's driving you forward?
Yeah.
So what's next for you then?
So we've just come off of the back of filling our Leads to Lifestyle program with 27 people. We've got our Success Circle membership community, which will probably end up collectively between the two, we'll probably end up with 100 that we'll be sort of working with. So it's just going to be going all in on those existing clients. Whilst then equally focusing on making the brokerage more automated, because we were talking before, I don't think social media works in the way it did for me sort of 2016 to 2020 time.
Yeah, what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah, so it's almost exactly that. A lot of what got me to this point now isn't going to get me to that next phase. And it's just around, I've looked back at my journey, and almost every year has kind of had a theme. So it's like 2016 was the year of, it didn't prior to that, but like 2016 was the year of relearning. 2017 was the year of earning the same amount of money, but technically working less. And that was obviously when I started to go into masterminds and mentorships and stuff like that. 2018 was then the systems year, before I then had the year of recruitment in sort of 2019. 2020 was just, for all of us, the year of survival and I don't know what, dealing with whatever kind of in our way. 2021 and sort of 2022 was much of the same sort of mentality, the year of just
preservation and
surviving, and sort of existing because of mum and various other little things. This year's been about the year of restructuring, sacking off a lot of the stuff and, really condensing down. You know what they say, less is more. It's so bloody true.
But do you think you have to go through the pain of realising you're spinning far too many plates? We always talk about the analogy of the swan, isn't it? That you're busy, but it seems like you're the swan who's just kind of gliding along at the minute. It's still got wheels turning, but everyone in place. Do you think you have to go through the hardship before you realise less is more and double down on what you're really good at?
Definitely. Like if you imagine 10 spinning plates and you've got 10 plates spinning, you can only give 10% of your time to each one of those spinning plates. So the goal is, I think everybody probably doesn't try enough things to find out what works for them.
So you've got to spin more plates?
You've got to spin more plates to then be able to go, right, that one actually doesn't really matter, let's drop that one. And then all of a sudden you're now giving, I'm not going to do the maths. But you're now giving 100% to 9 plates and then slowly but surely condense those down. So now I'm 2 plates and it's 50-50 on each.
But how do you then do that without being the shiny penny chaser, which I've definitely been guilty of? He's doing this and really well at it, I should do that. She's making loads of money doing this, I should do that. How do you then find the fine line between being a busy fool and chasing lots of shiny pennies? Because I think that the lesson there was, you test it and then go, that doesn't work. How do you create a skill set where you can walk away from stuff?
I think the 70-20-10 property model. I think is probably my 70-20 shifts all the time.
This is important.
And that's, the 70-20 shifts all the time. If you imagine the training business and the brokerage, and that's obviously the two that I bounce between. Most of the 70% this year has been on the training business. to get that kind of there and get that sorted. Now, as we go into Q4, it's like now the 70% is going to be all in on the brokerage, you know, because the focus is making sure the clients are happy, but we've not got to get any new ones in. So
which
can afford
complete antithesis for what you've done, though, isn't it? Because you've always been about leads and lead generation. Yeah. But is that the process of a business that's grown? So you still believe that everyone's got to focus on the leads, get really consistent at it, get really good at it?
Yeah.
At what point do you stop and kind of go, okay, I don't need more leads. I need to nurture the people that I've got and actually focus on, you know, the people who are the repeat customers, returning customers, the ones who've got, you know, consistency there.
Yeah, you have to know your numbers. That's the key thing. And it's working out, again, that number factor of sitting down and saying, right, how many inquiries do we need? How many sales do we want off of the back of those inquiries? And then I did a video for YouTube this week around, you know, 3 ways to grow a business. 1 is to get more leads in. 2 is to maximize each and every single value of those sales. And then the 3rd one is to get those same customers to buy more often. And it's very much, you can't focus on all 3 of those at any one point in time, but you can't maximize the value if you haven't got enough inquiries coming in. And you definitely can't get to people to convert more if you obviously haven't solved the problem number 1. So I take people through lead, sales, strategy, because they want the quick wins.
Yep.
They're the quick wins we can get. Then we can give them space to go, now let's devise a strategy because I've covered that. And then we can kind of go finance, systems and team. And then just keep them virtuously spinning is kind of the gist.
I love how systematic it is, both in business and in life, and it seems to be working really well. You've done your themes from 2016 onwards. What's the theme for 2024?
I'm going for 3, but they're all interlinked. So it's kind of like I started with profit, and then I was like, well, that's all good because I don't want to grow the team much bigger than what I necessarily have got right now because, you know, I've still got young children, so I still value lifestyle around that, and I don't want to push too hard. So profit was where it started. Then, as we both agree, brand is really important. So building that brand around more service-based, less financial services, building that brand will then equally lead to buying.
Yep.
So it's brand, buying and profit is my kind of focus for those. We should actually, now I'm saying it, I'm going to change it from BBP to profit, brand and buying. Profit,
brand and buying. That's the focus for 2024.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, you have created a lifestyle that many people would love to have. You've created businesses that many people would love to have, and I'm super conscious of your time, so I don't want to take too much up. But I do want to ask a question that I ask all of my guests, which is, what is the one subject matter no one ever discusses, or the one question that no one ever asks that you think is really important? What's the one question you want to be asked, or what's the one subject matter where you think no one ever brings that up, but it's vital? And if it makes you think, that's exactly the purpose of my question.
I think it comes back to one that you did ask me earlier, but I have this thing in my weird brain of like, what is this whole life realistically about? Why are we designed to wake up in the morning to, in my circumstance, wake up in the morning, go to the gym, end up in a working environment, whatever that kind of means. And today I'm luckily having lunch in a very nice restaurant with a good friend of mine, which is still work.
Yeah.
This is work, doing this podcast with you, to then go home, to spend time with our kids, to then have a couple of hours on the sofa watching Netflix with the wife, to then go to bed and repeat that cycle day after day for however many years. And I question it all the time. I'm like, why is this life? Why do we go out to earn money to then pay for holidays that we have to do in half term? And, you know, this whole thing around... so many people go through years and years and years of their life and then actually only really start to enjoy it when they retire. So I think the real important question that people sort of need to ask, that is probably multiple questions, is like, what is your definition of success, as you kind of said earlier? But equally, what do you realistically want from your life and from those hours that we have? And I don't know if you've seen that picture that goes around, but it's like the number of dots on a board. So there's a picture that's there, and it's like all the dots on the board represent a year of your life. And then obviously some of them are coloured in for, like, so I'd have 42 coloured in, and I'm going to at least over 100. That's like the thing I've got in my mind, especially with I think the average is like 80 now, isn't it? But if people can get really super clear on anything that they want during that time, then why can't we achieve anything that we want? So get clear on what success means to you, get clear on the true lifestyle that you want, and then are you aligning with those two things in everything that you do and every decision that you make every single day, even to the point of, you know, is the job the one that you should necessarily be in?
Question everything.
Yeah, question everything.
I love that. What a great way to end the podcast. I want to say a huge thank you for you investing your time to do the podcast today and allowing me to come here. I really appreciate it. So if anyone wants to follow you, we're going to put all of your socials and your links in the show notes. You've got a few different opportunities for people to join in, things like your success circle, things like, what was the Leads to Lifestyle?
Leads to Lifestyle Accelerator.
So if anyone wants to follow you, you've got YouTube channels, you've got your own podcast, you're an author, still doing all of those things. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you for having me. Sure.